me just switch that one off. Shouldn't actually show you the names, okay? Because this is actually GDPR, okay? So look away. Okay, oops. Look away. Don't look at the names. Right. Now this is actually one of the good ones, okay? Don't look at the name. Okay. No name in there. Proposed dissertation title, Thermoelectric Cooling as a Viable Alternative to Conventional Heat Pumps. In fact, that was actually quite complex. Yeah? Don't worry about the title, don't worry about it. We're looking at the format, okay? Yeah? That's more important, Dave. The format. Yes? Whether it's boring, whether it's sexy or not, don't worry about it, yes? There are some sexy titles, but the content is actually just, crap. Yeah? But that one is a good one, actually. He got really, like, a very high mark on it. So, the rationale to consider alternatives to mechanical heat pumps for cooling applications within a building cells environment where the nature of construction does not lend itself to traditional cooling methods. It's something new, really. Yeah, this guy is an electric guy, but was interested in doing this. The aim, he said the aim, and the following objectives to determine viability: review literature, investigate, determine theoretical cooling load, so this is in the calculation, compare, analyze, so this is actually how you actually go about achieving the aim, yes? What steps do you need to do in order to achieve that aim? So at the moment, this is actually for next week. This is actually what I want from you, just that page. And then you can just give me, like, a couple of lines about your brief literature review. Like, what you are going to actually use. Yeah? Some people, I'm going to use, like, the BRE documents. I'm going to use the CIBZ to do this. I'm going to use this, yeah? Stuff like that. So this guy, he used the CIBZ TM for 52. Okay. And this is his literature review, as you can see. And these are the formula that he used. This is actually the submission in December. Element of originality. So he just said borrows. At the moment, or at this stage, it's original to you. There could be really similar work, but applicable to different application. Yeah? So it's original to you at this stage. We're not doing a PhD here. A PhD is just original to everybody. But at this stage, it's original to you. Master's level is like, there will be some kind of element of originality to you and others as well. Yeah? But at the moment, yeah, it doesn't have to be really original to knowledge or to science. Although some people did that before, okay? But it can be original to you. Proposed program of work. You explain, yeah? Your survey, methodology, right? Determine do some calculations, calculate, produce, set up experiment, stuff like that. Okay? If you're using anything like practical facilities, permission, authorization, like you want to have access to some kind of site or something like that, you just say that. If you're using like, you know, some kind of equipment, gadgets, or just like, you know, borrowing something, doing something like acoustics, or doing something like, you know, on installation, and you want to actually to measure stuff like that, yeah? Okay, so so like this guy's scale model to be constructed using new value, temperature sensor, data logger, voltage current pound meter, heat source to be derived from element lamp, TEC to be obtained from CPC funnel, stuff like that. Okay, then you put your references, and those references that probably you will be using in your dissertation. So that is actually the submission in December. That's one example. Show you another example. Probably one of the average ones. Okay. Okay. Now that was actually a little bit below average. He did pass, but I'll show you. Proposed title: Investing whether wind turbines are an appropriate way to obtain renewable energy within the United Kingdom. It's a very broad, isn't it? Yes? You've got to be specific, really. Yeah? That's very broad. Don't you agree? Yeah? You got to be very specific about what you're doing. Yes? Okay? Within the United Kingdom. I would probably say, like, you know, within, like, you know, Lancashire area. Yes? Stuff like that. Yeah? Rationale, he's talking about, like, you know, the protocol and all that, the climate change and all this. You know all this, yeah? Don't really dwell a lot on this. By the way, if you're doing anything to do with sustainability, don't dwell a lot on the Kyoto protocol and all this. Yeah? Just mention it briefly or casually. We all know that. Yes? Some people go and just, like, you know, fill in 2 pages about this. Yeah? Don't. It's too much, really. Okay? Everybody knows about that. Just like mention it casually. That's a big rationale. Yeah? Don't ask for that. Probably 1 paragraph will be more than enough. Get to the point. Get to the point. Yeah? That's too much for a rationale. Aims and objectives. There's always one aim. That's my philosophy. There's always one aim and many objectives. Always one aim. Then the literature, what you're going to be using, what you're going to be comparing. Journals, papers, very important. Yeah. Obviously guides, maybe like textbooks. Yeah. Maybe like previous work. All right, stuff like that. So this is actually about 1,000 words for the literature. It's more than 1,000 actually, he did, as you can see there. Then the element of originality, you got to actually state how original this work is, or probably is based on some original work. Program of work, gonna do like, you know, chapters, you did it chapter by chapter. which is introduction, literature review, methodology, results, and conclusions. It's always I like to see 5 chapters. Some people make it 6, especially if they actually expand on that chapter 4. Sometimes they make it 2 chapters, but like, you know, put it in 1 chapter. You see the guidelines that I actually uploaded, 5 chapters. Okay, and so on. I'll show you some like good examples of the submissions of the finals as well. Okay. Some titles to inspire you. I'll read it out. Thermoelectric cooling versus a viable alternative heat pump. PV, low voltage cables, cable losses. Was electrical here? Yeah, I think that was actually one of the good ones as well. Wind turbine within the UK. Energy efficient lab design. Engineer dissertation. Zero carbon homes. Just have a look at that. That's the abstract. First off, you write the abstract, which is about half a page. Then acronyms, abbreviations, anything that you use. Good format, that one. I provide that. It's a good format. Always declaration will give you that. If you want acknowledgement, this is actually optional. It's not necessary, it's optional. Abstract, definitely. Abbreviation, definitely. Nomenclature and symbols, definitely. Then the table of contents. Then after that, list of tables, list of figures. This is what I'd like to see. Okay, as a format. Then you got chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and finally chapter 5. Yeah? No, these are not chapters. So he was actually references and appendices are not chapters. Okay? I don't want to see bibliography, only references, okay? Unless there are any bibliography. You know the difference between references and bibliography. Reference is the one that you used within the text. Bibliography is something that you read. Yes? Okay? And based your research on it. You say, well, I read that, but you didn't cite it. I don't want to see any bibliography. Yeah? I only want to see references. You're not writing a, well, it's different, the bibliography. Then list of tables, introduction, research rationale, aims and objectives. Aim, obviously that was a mistake there. It's only one aim, always one aim. Okay, literature review, and this is actually the body of the dissertation. Obviously the word count was actually way above, but it was actually included in the appendices. So if you remove the appendices, think it'll come to 10,000 words. Okay? Anyway, we've got these as hard copies if you want to actually have a look at. Yeah?